This is part 5 of the lecture on methods of assessment used in special education. Again, my name is Dr. George Giuliani from Hofstra University, and we left off the last lecture talking about tests, what a test is, and the importance of validity and reliability in testing. And now we're going to talk about the two different types of tests that you'll see in special education, and those are norm reference tests and criterion reference tests. Now, a norm reference test, also known as an NRT, is designed to compare student performance to that of other students. And in special education, almost every norm reference test compares the student's score against national averages of some sort. So when you think of norm reference tests, you are comparing a child's score to other scores within the population. Scores on norm reference tests are not interpreted according to an absolute standard or criterion, so that if you get 8 out of 10 correct, you got a certain score. But rather, it's how the student's performance compares with that of a particular group of individuals. So how you do is relative to how everybody else does. Now, all norm reference tests include standardized procedures, because if your score is going to be compared to other students' scores, we need to make sure that we structure the test materials, administration, scoring procedures, everything remains the same and consistent for everyone. And this is known as standardization, where we structure test materials, administration procedures, scoring methods, and techniques for interpreting results, all to be the same way in a sense. Because by standardizing the test, it means that all children are receiving the same questions and procedures, no matter where it is being administered. So when a student takes a norm reference test, you know that if that student takes it in New York, and another student takes that same test in Wisconsin, and another student takes the test in Iowa, everyone's getting the same test administered the same way. Think about when you took the SAT. Everybody got that test in the same amount of time, given the same way, same number of questions, etc. So many of the tests used in special education are norm reference tests. We compare the scores of these children against others, and all the norm reference tests are standardized. Standardized tests are very much a part of the education scene, and most of us have taken these such tests in our lifetime. And there's a wide variety of standardized tests available to assess different types of skill areas. And in special education, these include intelligence tests, math tests, reading tests, spelling tests, and writing tests, and many other different types of testing. The other type of tests you'll see in special education in the assessment process are known as criterion reference tests, or CRTs. And CRTs are scored according to a standard or criterion that the teacher, the school, or test publisher decides represents an acceptable level of mastery. The test giver is interested in what the student can do and cannot do, rather than how his or her performance compares to those with other people. So a criterion reference test doesn't compare you to anyone. It just looks at, did you master the material or didn't you master the material? Either you got it or you didn't, and it doesn't matter what the rest of the population did. How you do, your score on the test, has no bearing whatsoever on how other people did as well. So while with norm reference tests, everything is scored against how the rest of the population does, criterion reference tests only look at how you did. Did you master the material? Did you do what needed to be done, or did you not? And mastery is a level of performance on a criterion reference test that shows that a student has demonstrated knowledge, skills, and abilities for a particular unit or instruction as defined by the standard. Because again, criterion reference tests are more concerned with describing what a student can do rather than comparing performance to others. So again, when you think of norm reference tests, think of how the score is compared to others. Your score is being compared to how other people have done. While in a criterion reference test, how other people did is not relevant. All that matters is, did you master the material or did you not? And how other people did has no bearing on how you score on the test. That ends the lecture on methods of assessment used in special education. And that's the end of the lecture.